Steve Jewin, MMA Mania.
Okay, Steve, you're on Darrion. Go ahead.
The Wolf, Darrion Caldwell. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. How are you feeling today, sir?
Feeling good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. And I'm really excited about this fight, this rematch you've got coming up here at Madison Square Garden in New York City. But we can't talk about the future if we don't address the past. So what happened in that last fight that you had in Rizin with Kyoji Horiguchi?
Well, I think that last fight you seen, I mentioned last, you seen the third round. My focus wasn't on point. So I feel like you see what happens when you got a guy who's not focused in the third round. He gets tapped out, puts himself in bad position. If you watch the fight, that's literally what I did. I put myself in a bad position, took his leg from my hip and put it on my back, which is probably the dumbest thing you can do.
I understand that. I caught a sense of deja vu when I saw that fight because I remembered the first fight you had with Joe Manglo. Not saying it happened exactly the same way, but I was thinking to myself, oh no, not again.
Yeah, no, for sure. There are definitely different setups where Joe kind of like jumped into it after I shot. He down blocked. He stopped my takedown and jumped into it. I was still on my knees, as opposed to Horiguchi, where I was already on top of him in his guard. You know, my head under his chin, and then it kind of just fell into it. So they were definitely different, but they both kind of at the end of the day, they both were mental lapse. You know, they both lack focus. You know, and put myself in a position I shouldn't be in. Shouldn't be on my knees under a guy. Like it shouldn't be in a guy's bar with my head on the side.
Well, if anything, that Joe Manglo, sorry, I was just going to say, if anything, that last fight you had with Joe proved you can avenge the fight in a rematch. So I'm sure that's what you're looking forward to doing with Kyoji here.
Absolutely, all the things to be changed for sure. Within the game plan, you know.
How do you feel about the fact that this is one of two title fights that are on the Madison Square Garden card, that you're sharing this spotlight with Rory McDonald as well?
I'm pumped, you know. I've been watching Chael, you know, and Lyoto since my wrestling days before I ever thought I'd ever be in this position, you know. So to be on a card with, you know, with him, them guys headlining, and then, you know, Rory, you know, and Gracie, you know, those are two names that, you know, is so popular in the sport, you know. So to have those guys, you know, headlining an event that I'm on is awesome, you know.
And obviously you've wrestled in front of some very big audiences before in your amateur days, but how do you think the size of this audience and the pressure it's going to bring at MSG will be different from your other fights?
I think it's going to be, it's just going to make everything more sweet when I win, you know. I have my family and friends and fans there, you know, people who've been following my career since my middle school wrestling days, high school wrestling days, college days, you know. Now, you know, my professional MMA career, it's going to make everything more sweet.
Now, going back to Kyoji Horiguchi, you could have been the Rizin champion, but there wasn't a title for Kyoji to lose to you, and consequently, you can't win his title in this fight in Bellator. You can only defend your own. So if you win, do you think there should be a third fight where both titles are on the line?
Absolutely. You know, I think I had a good time out with Japan, you know. Not only that, you know, Rizin is a great organization, so I think after June 14th, that trilogy is going to have to be in effect, you know.
Where should it take place then? Would it be in Rizin? Would it be in Bellator? Or would it be a co-branded fight?
Well, I think, again, since we already fighting for my belt, let's go fight for his after. So that first belt was up for grabs, so we're fighting there.
You talked about how it was a lack of focus that affected you in the third round. What do you do to compensate for that when you're training for this fight to go out there and do it again?
Well, it's just a lot of things, you know. But if I gave away those secrets, then, you know, everybody be trying to use it. So that's something I can't speak on, you know. But just know the same work's being put in, like, you know, just the intensity level is different. You know, the focus is different, you know, and the mindset is different as opposed to the first one.
I'm sure it is, and I'm sure this is going to be a great fight. Beyond Kyoji Horiguchi, who are you looking forward to next in the division? Who do you see as your future rivals here coming up after this title defense?
Well, I want that 45-pound belt. So, Pitbull, he's gonna have to get it. I know he want my 35-pound belt. And so either way, he's gonna be a guy I face. But I'm definitely gonna be a 2-division champ at Bellator, and so it's as simple as that.
Well, that creates an interesting dilemma then, because I've listened to AJ McKee and Pitbull talking a lot of to each other back and forth, and Steve Jewin.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I got disconnected right as I was asking.
I know. I was telling Darrion, I said that was actually so funny. It sounded like that was an intentional disconnection, but no worries. Let me patch you right in.
All right.
All right, Steve, you're back on. Do you want to go ahead and repeat that question?
Sure. I'm sorry about that, Darrion. I don't know what happened, but I was asking about the fact that AJ McKee and Pitbull have been barking at each other and saying a lot of things about how they want to fight each other. And do you think you would have to fight AJ McKee to get a chance to face Pitbull?
I don't think I'll have to fight AJ McKee. Well, I think the goal is to fight Pitbull. He's the champ, and so that's what's going to happen.
And you think McKee wouldn't have any objections then? He'd be like, okay, I can stand aside, let somebody else get in there first?
Well, that's just going to have to play itself out, I think Patricio is the champ right now, and so my goal would be the 45-pound champion. And so when I get my hands on this guy, everything will play itself out. I will be the 45-pound champion, so it goes back.
Do you think you could also consider yourself the 155-pound champion as well then, since he's currently the champ?
Absolutely.
How many belts can you hold then in Bellator? What would be the maximum amount of weight classes you'd want to hold titles in?
Those three is cool, honestly. Those are realistic for me. But honestly, I wouldn't want to step in that cage with Dr. Flame. That's just a fact. But anybody on that 55-pound roster, anybody who 155 pounds and less in the world can get it, period. So, just like that.
All right. That sounds like a plan then. And as for your training and preparation for Madison Square Garden here on the 14th, how's the camp been going? How's the weight been? How's everything treating you as you get ready?
It's good right now. It's a lot better than the last camp, I tell you that. In terms of my weight, my diet, and overall, performance and intensity at training. I'm excited to step in the cage and see how I perform myself.
Obviously, I don't want you to give away any spoilers or give Kyoji any hints, but have you picked up any new tricks?
No new tricks. Everything's going to be the same, Get my hands on him, go and beat him up.
Right on. So, who right now from your team is making the most noise that you think is going to be like the future Darrion Caldwell? Who's coming up next after you?
Right now, we got some stars in there, Gracie Perez, his brother, Jair Perez, he's a young fighter with Combate. He's pretty tough, man. I see him doing well. But we got a bunch of stars here at Alliance, right now, I'm really just focus on Kyoji Horiguchi, getting the job done June 14th. But overall, Alliance is a great team. We got a bunch of studs, and be on the lookout because any one of these guys can fight in Bellator, and UFC, and Rising, one of the two. They're just like that,
That's true. It seems like Alliance has their fingers in every toe. You mentioned Combate Americas, Bellator, UFC. It's like, what organization out there isn't represented by an Alliance fighter right now?
No, I agree. It's just a testament to everything Eric Delfiero is doing out here, The great work he's putting in,
Indeed, and you're putting in that work as well, so we're looking forward to a great rematch with Kyoji Horiguchi here at Madison Square Garden. Before we wrap it up, I want your thoughts on the Garden itself. Everybody calls it a historic venue, the site of so many great fights, Muhammad Ali, and so many great concerts. What do you think about the Garden as a venue itself?
I think it's a place to fight at. You know, if you're ever gonna fight and fight a big fight, it's got to be at the Garden. Like Hammer was awesome. It was a great experience, but the Garden is just a different beast. So if I could find the Garden, it would be a different beast. But
All right, it's a different beast, and you'll be a different beast, and everybody will be beasting to see that fight. So we can't wait, and I want to give you this opportunity, Darrion, to plug anything you'd like. Any sponsors, any social media, please go ahead.
I just want to take the time to thank everyone who's been following my career and keeping up with me and supporting me. You know, check my Instagram, The Wolf MMA. It's in my Twitter as well as The Wolf MMA. You can see all my sponsors there. And shout out to Bellator for giving me this opportunity to be a world champion and step into my true self, and take on this guy Kyoji Horiguchi June 14th.
Indeed. And shout out to DAZN as well, because they'll be streaming the fight. So if you don't have DAZN, get a free month trial right now, and you won't miss that historic fight at Madison Square Garden, the rematch between Kyoji Horiguchi and Darrion Caldwell. Darrion, thank you again for the time today.
All right, thank you, buddy.
No problem. And thank you, Dan, as well.